Hey guys, welcome back to Range of Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew, and there are only 3 items we need to put in any survival kit in order to ensure our survival in the wild, because these 3 items are going to be the most difficult for us to recreate off the landscape, and with these 3 items, we can recreate the other 2 necessities as part of a complete survival kit from natural materials around us to ensure our survival and provide for most basic needs out in the wild. Stand by. Those 3 items that we have to have in any survival kit needs to be some sort of large cutting tool, some cordage, and then some sort of metal container. We are going out into the woods today with a basic survival skills mindset. We have our 3-piece kit, and all we're worried about is covering the bases to get a little bit of training in, nothing fancy. So for that first item, our cutting tool, which we all know and love, we're going to pick a small camp utility hatchet or sports hatchet from Council Tool. This hatchet is unique in that it's only a 14-inch handle, but that hatchet head is 2 pounds. What this means is that extra mass in the hatchet head makes up for the lack of length and handle, giving us enough power and leverage to take down large material while still having the ability to choke up on the handle and make fine carving notches or feather sticks as long as we sharpen up that bit to a razor's edge. You'll notice we sharpened it, cuts through paper like butter. It is ready to go. This is a perfect hatchet that could be found around camp, commonplace, that we could grab before walking off into the woods to collect firewood, which is why we put it in our kit. For that second item, it's going to be cordage. Cordage is one of the more difficult items to recreate off the landscape unless you understand plant materials and know what to look for and have the skills and practice to actually make cordage. And even if you have the skills to make cordage, it takes a long time to make any certain length of cordage, especially stronger cordage. So we need to carry cordage with us as part of a basic kit. Arguably, one of the most difficult items to recreate from natural materials, just given the time and effort it takes to create a container, as well as the lack of knowledge or resources to be able to make indigenous clay pots, or if you're just unlucky enough to stumble across man-made containers in the form of trash on the beach, is a container that can be put over the fire or in the fire to boil water to make it safe to drink. So we bring a container with us as our last item. In this case, we have the Pathfinder Canteen Trail Kit, a basic metal canteen and nesting cup. I consider one item as a container, and it goes in the kit. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that a traditional basic survival kit actually has 5 items. We only have 3, so the 2 items that we are missing are going to be fire and shelter. Now, shelter this time of year in this area is not a huge concern unless we're just trying to stay dry given the rainstorms that frequent this area. But there's plenty of debris lying around, so we can make a debris shelter very easily. Fire, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit more difficult, but there's plenty of material available to craft a friction fire set. And with that hatchet and this bent over cedar tree, we can take this piece of cottonwood that we harvested and process it down into usable sections to attempt to recreate a bow drill friction fire set to make fire. Hatchet makes short work of this large section of cottonwood combined with an impromptu anvil with that bent over cedar, keeping us safe, and anybody can use this to process that material down. Plus, it's all too easy to make the first portion of our bow drill friction fire set, the hearth board, by planting one side of that cutout. Went ahead and found this small section of cottonwood that we're going to use as a spindle for our bow drill. It's a little bit shorter than I would like and a little bit too wide, so we're going to demonstrate some fine carving skills with this hatchet. We've already used the hatchet for processing large material, improvising an anvil from a bent over tree to safely take apart that large section of cottonwood. Now we can demonstrate some finer skills, some basic skills that we should have using just a simple camp hatchet to manipulate the spindle as well as attempt to carve the notch for our bow drill friction fire set. This is a perfect training exercise. With a Dayton style hatchet head, the toe or that top portion of the bit is not as pronounced as we would like, but we can still use it to drill a divot into the hearth board. Here's a little trick we can employ with our bow once we locate that material off the landscape. Pick a section that's got a fork or a Y at one end to loop our cordage. At the other end, where we're going to place our hand, simply split that material down the middle a little bit so we can secure the cordage in place while we drill. That little trick of splitting the end of our bow where our hand is going to go as we drill means that we can safely secure our cordage, but it also means we can minimize the amount of cordage we devote to this bow, saving cordage in the long run as part of our three-piece kit. All we do now is create an end-of-the-line bowline knot with one end of that cordage, loop it over that wire fork that's on one end, and then move down to our handhold end of our bow. Simply wrap the cordage around however we would like it, and then secure it in between that split. We're all set and ready for the burn-in. The burn-in is very important because it's going to marry up every component of our bow drill, reducing error when we actually go for an ember in the future. I found this rock off to the side. It's got a nice little divot in it, and it could be a good bearing block. So we're going to give it a try with our burn-in attempt to see how that works, but then to also marry up all the pieces, especially the spindle and the hearth board. There's no notch carved yet because all we're doing is burning in. Once we get the burn-in successful, we'll actually carve the notch. With the burn-in, what we're looking for is creating a burn in the hearth board roughly the same diameter as the spindle. That way, we're sure it marries up and we won't have any error. Alright, so the hatchet has been good up until this point, and now we're ready for a real test with a 2-pound head hatchet, and that is carving a very small notch into the hearth board for our bow drill set. We don't have a survival knife with us, and the profile of this hatchet is not as forgiving as some sort of Scandi grind knife, but we can still get this notch carved to produce an ember and attempt to go for fire, which is this friction set. We just do the same process as we would with a survival knife. It's just going to take a little bit longer and a little bit more patience. Always a good idea to take a little bit of a break before attempting a friction fire set, unless this is a life or death scenario in which we have to get a fire right now. But that break gives us an opportunity to refocus, re-energize, get some water, hydrate, and then we can even use that break time to move around the area and collect up tinder material, especially if we haven't collected it yet, and then form that material into a tinder bundle or to our bird's nest. From here, we can just place it on a cloth or some sort of other piece of material we have with us to protect it and keep it out of the way until we're ready to use it. Now that we're ready to go for our ember, it's just business as usual. We have our catch, our spindle, hearth board, bearing block, bow, and string. We're ready to combine all the components and apply some downward pressure. Begin slowly at first, and once we see more smoke, we can apply more pressure, more speed, and then watch that ember produce. This is the best part of any friction fire set. Getting that ember smoking and then applying it to a tinder bundle and blowing it into flame to get a survival fire. Fire with sticks. It's always going to be a good time. Doesn't matter if this is your 100th time or your first time doing a bow drill. It's always an awesome experience. Plus, we're out here using one tool on this hot, humid day, getting some good training value and putting in work. Alright, hatchet, paracord, bow drill carved, and survival fire established. Now we're ready to take out our metal container, place it over the fire or in the fire, and boil water to make it 100% safe to drink. Today we have the Pathfinder Canteen Trail Kit. What I like about this is that it's got the old school bat wing handles on it, just like a military canteen cup, what I was born and raised on. Why I like this is because I use a little Boy Scout technique to put that canteen cup over the fire, suspend it, and boil water, using 2 sticks crossed in between the bat wing handles, scissored, and then held over the fire. I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'll let you enjoy the rest of the fire before we move on. During military survival training, we had to do 3 different fire tests, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and 10 minutes. Each test, we had to dig a concealed fire pit of our choice. We had to collect our fire material, start a fire, and then boil a canteen cup of water in under that allotted time frame. For our 10-minute test, we were only allowed natural tinder material that we could prepare the night prior. So I made a fist size of fat wood shavings and shoved that in my pocket to use for the fire test the next morning. When we were brought out for the test, we were lined up and then told we had 10 minutes to start a fire, dig a concealed fire pit, and boil a canteen cup of water. Ready, go. Well, everybody started to drop and started to dig their fire pit, but I was the only one to run out into the woods, grab up all the good fire material, and then bring it back to where my gear was, and then dug my fire pit, put my fatwood shavings in the pit, lit it on fire, put all the material over top, started my fire, used the 2-stick method here to suspend my canteen cup over the fire, and I boiled water in approximately 3 minutes. Too easy. Now, our last priority in just basic survival mentality is building a shelter. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this area, this time of year, shelter is not going to be high on the priority list. Fire is going to come first if we don't have a way to treat water immediately to make it safe to drink. So that fire is going to be the first thing, so we can take out our container, collect our water, place it in the fire, boil that water to make it safe to drink because it is hot and humid. I'm sweating buckets if you couldn't tell. The last priority we have is shelter. And like I also said at the beginning of the video, it is too easy to make a debris shelter out here. Debris is lying everywhere. Luckily enough, there's still debris left over from previous shelter builds when I've been out here demonstrating skills for you guys. So we're going to use some of those components to build just a basic lean-to structure. If we just need to get out of the rain or have somewhere warm to lay and then place a fire out in front of us, a simple lean-to is going to do the job. For a 20-minute shelter build, this isn't too bad. We have the advantage of a lean-to to act as a reflector or a way to contain some heat inside that shelter with a fire out front so we can make it through the night, get a little bit of sleep, recover, and then continue survival the next day. Alright guys, I really hope you liked this video. The only 3 things we need to take into the woods with us if we have the requisite skills, knowledge, and resources in the area is going to be some sort of cutting tool, paracord, and then some sort of metal container to boil water to make it safe to drink. Everything else we can make with natural materials around us. I really hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.